This week's episode is this once again the age of Maleficent. Fortnite has gone and done it again. And it's our annual discussion on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All this and more as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glasser from Pop Culture Cosmos, the Lakers Fast Break, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. Thank you so much for listening to our entire plethora of outstanding podcasts. And in fact, if you include Topicocalypse and also as well the action figure documentary podcasts that have been out, we have had since October over 15 podcasts that have been actually released out there. So if you get a chance, check our stuff out today on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend. He's our own rock star of Pop Culture Cosmos. You got to check out everything that's going on today at popculturecosmos.com, popculturecosmos.wordpress.com, and everything that he's doing with Topicocalypse and his book, Congratulations, You Suck. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. All set for a great weekend, my friend.
This is the part where in post you're going to add the Twisted Sister song that goes, wait, no, who sings the song? I Want to Rock. Dun, dun,
it
dun,
is
dun,
Twisted Sister.
Yeah, that's what I
Dee
thought.
Snider, and it is unfortunately not going to go on here because I cannot pay the copyright.
All right, everyone. So you heard that.
And now, if you want to pay it for me, or we can start a Patreon, we'll just call it Pop Culture Cosmos Patreon Copyright Fund. There we go.
I'm good, man. How's it going?
I'm doing all right, my friend. It's going to be an awesome weekend. Like I was saying, there's a lot of movies coming out, and there's a lot of things going on within the realm of the box office. So we're going to talk about that here in a sec. Plus, also as well, coming up in a few minutes right after that, we're going to talk about the great marketing move that Fortnite did this past week. My gosh, they got everybody's attention. The whole internet went went into an uproar, almost as much as Jennifer Aniston's Instagram, and telling, with all the stuff that went on with Fortnite. So we're going to talk about that as far as what went on, as far as how they went about what they did, why was it such a big deal, and where are they going from here as far as regaining a lot of the people who hopefully will come back after leaving the game for some time. And then also as well, we're going to have a big time discussion as we do every year with our good friends, Mike Faber from the ESO Network, and also Mike Faber from the ESO Network, and also as well, Kevin Eldridge from the Flopcast. They're coming back on the show once again, as they do every year, talking about the latest nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then on top of that, we've also got on the back end our continual countdown of the top 200 video games of all time. This time we're up to number 31 to number 40 in our top 200 list. But my friend, this weekend is going to be doing some rocking and rolling because there's a lot of great stuff coming out to the theaters and a lot of great things that are already there, including The Joker. And don't forget all the stuff that came out earlier in late September, early October, including Hustlers and Hustlers, so Ad Astra, and so much more that are still out there. But this weekend, you have two movies that are coming out into wide distribution, including Zombieland 2 Double Tap. Also, as well, you're having Maleficent 2. And I'll tell you what, right now, that's going to be a great thing to see in the box office this weekend. Plus, you've got Jay and Silent Bob the reason why that one is not being released wide in theaters is because that one came out on the 15th and the 17th only through Fathom Events. Not sure exactly what's going on as far as any further distribution, but as we hear more, we're going to go ahead and let you know right here on the show. But also as well, award winner Parasite, which had big numbers for the few theaters that was in last weekend, that's also going to get expanded upon. And two movies which are getting a lot of buzz, which includes The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. That's debuting in a small amount of theaters, and also as well, Jojo Rabbit from Taika Waititi That's also coming out into a limited number of theaters as well. Those two are getting limited releases as of now, and they're going to be brought out into more and more theaters along with the award-winning Parasite as well. So that's a great list of movies that are coming out or being expanded upon this weekend. It all starts with Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, the movie which did over $700 million the last time around. This time, the sequel, I'm going to be honest with you, my friend, I didn't see much in the way of advertising on this one this time around, so I don't expect big things, which is kind of disappointing for this type of movie, considering who's behind it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen a lot of marketing for it. I know we discussed that before, but I haven't seen a lot of marketing going on for it. Like, I didn't even know that was happening until I saw a billboard with it over in Rossmore here next to me. Did you see the first one? Was it good? Like, because I remember it came out so long ago, and I know I've talked to people who said it was okay, but I mean, did you see it? Were your girls interested in it at all? How was it?
They were semi-interested into it. I thought it was okay. I agree with your friends who have noted that it was okay. That was, an all right Disney movie at best. I don't think it was that memorable, but the fact that, as you and I both know, if it's something makes over $700 million at the box office, most likely you're going to make a sequel. They did, but its placement on the schedule is kind of weird, kind of strange. But the fact is that there has been a substantial amount less promotion than the last time, than the first movie that came out in the Maleficent series, which really is kind of strange as well. I'm wondering why they're not going ahead and putting more ad dollars into it. I've seen only internet ads. I've not seen one TV commercial. I know they're probably out there. I know some of our listeners have probably already had a chance to see it. The only trailer I saw really was when it was first announced, as far as when it was coming out in October. That's the first one, only one I've seen. So I'm really kind of stunned that that Disney hasn't really put more into it, because that tells you. Well, to me, it tells me it tells me that it tells me that Disney does not have enough faith into it. That does not have enough faith in the product itself. Tells me that even though there's mediocre reviews on the movie overall, that they don't have long-term plans for the Maleficent series.
Yeah, which is weird, because if you go to Disneyland, like, there's a lot of Maleficent merchandise being sold at the stores. So it's weird to me, because Disney has always been someone that's cut their losses, right? Like, look at John Carter, look at that's all the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Dumbo, yeah, and they're still
what was it? Something in Time.
Wrinkle in Time, yeah.
Wrinkle in Time, yeah.
And like they're still going after things. So you think that, like, they would know this is a sign of a bad movie. Wrinkle in Time, another one that suffered from marketing issues. John Carter suffered from marketing issues. Maleficent, I don't know how well it's going to end up doing, but it is suffering from marketing issues from where I'm standing. But I don't know how well the box office numbers are going to come back. But yeah, it's a weird time, because it's coming out. It's still going to be in theaters, I guess, when Frozen 2 comes out. So it's a weird place to put a film like that. And it's a weird thing that they did not really put much, hold on one second. Sorry. But it's weird to me that they're not really talking about it that much. You're not seeing a lot of trailers on TV. You're not seeing a lot of trailers in movies. You're not seeing a lot of like bus signs or posters at bus stops, or I saw one billboard for it. That's how I found out it existed. And I know people who are saying, like, yeah, maybe I'll go check it out. But, like, even just watching the trailers are not edited very well. It doesn't look that good.
Yeah, it does not look very promising. It's only expected to garner right around the $40 to $50 million domestically, which, for a Disney movie that has some type of stature, which this one should, considering the fact that the first one did relatively well according to Disney standards, is kind of disappointing. So this one looks like they're just sending it out there almost to essentially die at the box office. Kind of reminds me of the sequel to Snow White and the Huntsman in that realm, as far as the second one. The sequel, when it came out, was without Kristen Stewart and pretty much was sent out there to die. And even though Chris Hemsworth was in it, Well, maybe because Chris Hemsworth was in it and it wasn't a Marvel movie, that's maybe one of the reasons why it died, because he just doesn't seem to have the same luck.
Yeah, those movies were really dry too. Did you feel that way when you were watching them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Right now, all I can tell you is that it is going to be something that is probably going to win the weekend at the box office, but it's not going to win it by much. The Joker, in its third week, if it has the same type of drop, it will probably be right behind it at the box office. But then you have Zombieland 2 Double Tap, a movie that's finally coming out after 10 years after the first one came out. I think that's 10 years too long. I've discussed this before with you on a previous podcast about how I thought 10 years is a little bit too much distance, plus also putting it in this crowded marketplace, or maybe even waiting a week closer to Halloween might have sufficed a little bit better. It's only looking like it's going to do around $20 million here domestically at the box office, but that doesn't mean it can't turn a profit at some point in time with some good international marketing, some good international returns, because it is not as big budgeted of a movie as, let's say, Maleficent, as far Maleficent 2 for that matter. So I want to ask you your thoughts on Zombieland 2. The first one was really good, really entertaining, something that a lot of people seem to enjoy, especially after it hit the theaters and went into home video and that marketplace. It seemed to gain a life of its own from that extent. So I want to hear your thoughts. Is 10 years too late is 2 years too late for Zombieland to go ahead and find a new and also revised audience that will go ahead and make it into a decent hit?
Well, let's say, hold on one second. Sorry, my brother was like humming. It sounded like an old lady's being choked. No, with Zombieland, it's interesting because it had a lot of momentum and it was really good when it first came out, but they sat on the sequel for so long. And I know there's so many. I thought that it was going to go the way of World War Z when we had all these writers and it looked so promising, and then just never came to fruition. And I thought that's what was going to happen with Zombieland. Right now, they're having this issue where people are getting really burnt out on zombie stuff because of The Walking Dead, right? So with Zombieland 2 coming out, they're really in an awkward time because the zombie fad, I feel like it's coming to an end. People don't care about it anymore. There's not a lot of movies coming out about it. Even like B-grade horror movies have completely moved on from the zombie genre. They're moving on to vicious animals fighting each other, or like haunted house flicks. People making fun of paranormal investigations. They've moved beyond the zombie stuff. So this Zombieland, I'm curious how it's going to do, because while it still has a cult following, people do really love the first one. It's a fad that's coming to an end, and as such, it seems like this is not the right time to put it out. But I could be wrong. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I told you it is the wrong time, I think, for it to be put out. I mean, if you had to go ahead and release it this year, I guess next week or closer to the Halloween. Closer to Halloween would probably suffice for me better, but putting it right now with Maleficent doing, debuting, and then the Joker still doing well, probably will prove to be a mistake, because that only gives people focused on going to see, as far as either, a movie that's in wide release, they're focused more on seeing the Joker if they haven't seen it yet, or seeing Maleficent if they've got the kids. Or if they want to go ahead and search if they're in a area which has the movies, there's 3 movies, not two, and there's not one, not two, but 3 movies in playing right now in limited release, in Parasite, also as well, Jojo Rabbit and The Lighthouse. Those 3 movies have gotten a lot of buzz. Jojo Rabbit has had mixed reviews, but because it's Taika Waititi, that's a lot of people are either loving it or hating it. The Lighthouse, it's gotten a lot of Oscar buzz for Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. And then Parasite has, right now, is probably the highest rated foreign movie of the year so far. So you've got 3 movies right there in limited release that a lot of people would be looking forward to seeing, maybe, and concentrating, trying to find a place where they can have it close by. But in the wide release, it looks like it looks like Zombieland 2 is going to be a distant third in the running as far as box office, either on a domestic or a worldwide scale, which is kind of disappointing because I thought the movie in the earlier part of this decade had enough cachet to go ahead and say, you know what, we've got a great movie here that could go ahead and make more money in this as a sequel. But unfortunately, due to timing issues, due to box office issues, due to other things, and other things that are going around with this movie, it looks like it's too little, too late.
I agree. I'm because I had expressed this on the couple of shows ago when we talked about this, was that I feel like it's going to suffer from same thing Gemini Man is going to, and same thing with Blade Runner. It's going to suffer from too much too late, as far as a sequel goes. There's too much space in between now and then. Like, look at it. We're dealing with this Zombieland came out, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
So,
and they remarked to that in the film. The film takes place 10 years after the original.
yeah, so this is 10 years is an entire generational gap. It's an entire generation of kids who don't get it, kids who don't care enough to go back and watch old movies. And Zombieland is an old movie now because it came out 10 years ago. So maybe people who saw the original will go see it, but I don't think the excitement is there. The excitement that was there with the first one, if they would have done that 2 or 3 years afterwards, that would have been a whole different story. But I don't think the excitement's there, and I don't think that enough people of the generation of kids who are in their age demographic of 16 to 25 really care about it anymore. So that's my big concern about it, and why I don't think it's going to do as well as people think.
I agree with you 100% on that, my friend. It looks like it's probably not going to do as well as it should have, because like you said, had it come out in 2011 or 2012, I think this movie would have really done well and start actually even a series. Well, they actually started a TV series as far as a pilot, but it never came to fruition as far as a full-fledged television series. But as a series of movies, it could have really worked out well had they brought it out 2 or 3 years after the original came out. But unfortunately, due to all the political stuff behind the scenes, due to all the production stuff, due to all the other projects that everybody seemed to be working on over the course of time, it looks like that's not going to be the case. What are your thoughts out there on the box office this weekend? What are you going to check out? Are you going to check out Maleficent 2? Are you going to check out Maleficent, Mistress of Evil? Are you going to check out Zombieland 2, Double Tap? Are you going to check out The Joker? Are you going to check out Jojo Rabbit, The Lighthouse, or even Parasite? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. The box office is really starting to get heavy with some good films that are coming out there, or some big name films that are coming out there. So we want to hear your thoughts on it. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Well, before we head to the break and my interview with the guys from, and my interview with Mike Faber from the ESO Network and Kevin Eldridge from the Flopcast, I want to ask you real quick. It was all over the internet. People were freaking out. Oh my gosh, my life's over. It's so terrible. Oh my gosh. Because the original map for Fortnite got sucked up into a black hole this past weekend, and everybody was freaking out. You had people, parents flooding the call centers for the Fortnite helpline, just pleading what was going on with it, and asking Epic Store to do something. It got word all over the internet. Everybody was talking about it. Epic had something in mind, and they did indeed. It was just their way of introducing a new map for season 11, and a lot of people were breathing a heavy sigh of relief. I want to ask you, my friend, this to me was a masterful promotional stroke of genius, because it got so much attention for a game that you and I both know has been declining in popularity over the past year, since this time last year. I mean, we talked about it even on even in our most popular episode ever, that now Roblox and Minecraft, games like that, have now surpassed it in popularity. So I ask you, my friend, with this promotional type event that happened as far as getting sucked in there, and Fortnite's been a game known to have these type of different inter-game promotional events before in the past with Marvel and with John Wick and concerts with, DJ concerts with Marshmello and things like that inside the game. With all the stuff that's going on, was this their best maneuver ever?
When you said that Fortnite had got sucked up into a black hole, I was feeling very happy. And then you started talking about how it was a marketing scheme, and I was just disappointed, man. Disappointed. But,
Epic's not going to leave their moneymaker that time anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's clever because why were parents freaking out about it? Look at how much money they've invested in these things.
Because they have to take care of their kids once again. That's why.
Right.
It couldn't be their babysitter. Fortnite was their babysitter. Why are you
lingering in the kitchen? Why are you lingering in my office? Why are you talking? Who are you is what they're thinking. There's also, they probably have hundreds, if not thousands of dollars invested in this game because that's what all their kids are playing. And even look at the thing where the parents are paying Fortnite tutors, right? These kids are the generation of kids coming up right now. They all think they're going to be professional streamers. They all think they're going to be YouTube stars. So it's natural that they would freak out thinking that Fortnite, their ticket to fame and fortune is gone. What's going on? Are they taking Fortnite off the air? It's a panic. And I've had people talking to me about this, and it's clever on their part because now they've got people so interested and they're in the news again. And they got, people are freaking out about it. There's controversy. There's all kinds of stuff. Like they have hit all of the major marketing points with this new Fortnite update.
Plus it also helps out all the people that are playing it on mobile because, you have PUBG, you have Call of Duty Mobile, which has had the biggest opening ever the biggest debut ever on mobile. People are always talking about that. People have been talking about that the past couple of weeks. Then you have Mario Kart on mobile. I mean, that helps their mobile atmosphere as well. So that only served to gain their actions this week have only served to gain interest into a bigger picture for them long term, and may have reinvigorated people's interest into the game. So I consider it just an outstanding move and just something that I think a lot of people might try to emulate. A lot of developers might try to emulate down the road. But YouTube stars, I think we might be YouTube stars at least in our own mind.
Up all the times that we've been on YouTube, it'd be over 100, so that's pretty good, right?
Dude, we're going on over almost 400 that we've been together on this, so 400 times, man.
Yes, we are now accepting sponsorships for anything from dog food to yo-yos and handbags. If you are in the market, just let us know.
There you go. Whatever we need to do to make a buck, my friend, because we could certainly use it right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But I want to hear your thoughts out there, everyone, on the Fortnite and their extreme way of going ahead and garnering attention like they did in this past week with the original map being sucked up in a black hole. I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and bring it back at some point in time down the road. Plus, also as well, did it bring you back into the game, and did it bring you back into playing Season 11? We want to hear your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, coming up next, I'm going to be talking to Mike Faber from the ESO Network and ESONetwork.com. Also as well, Kevin Eldridge on the Flopcast, because it's our annual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame discussion, because the nominees have been announced, and we're going to talk about who do we think is going in, who do we want to go in, and who do we think was snubbed when it comes to the nominees for the 2020 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's coming up right after the break. This is the PCC Multiverse. All right, and we're back to close out the show. This is PCC Multiverse. If you need a listing where we're at, because we're being played all around the world, 7 days a week on radio stations worldwide, you can get a great listing of all of our radio stations. That's available today at Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, where you will see a listing of many of our over 30 different podcast options as well. Well, my friend, you've got a great thing going with Congratulations, You Suck. I know those books are going out there. They're flying out the door. So tell people how they can get a hold of how they can get a hold of how they can get a hold of your awesome book. Congratulations, You Suck.
You can get a copy on Amazon.com. I think there's still a few copies left. They're almost sold out, so you can check that out now. And also BarnesandNoble.com and a few other booksellers out there. I'm working on getting it into a few bookstores physically, so stay tuned for more info on that. And if you have picked up a copy, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I want to thank Mike Faber from the ESONetwork.com and also from the ESO Network, and also as well Kelvin Eldridge from the Flopcast for being part of today's show. I also want to thank Rob McCallum for his off-the-cuff segment as well. Again, we've got Rob McCallum coming up today on today's show for off the cuff with his latest off the cuff segment. I got to put that in there. I forgot to say it earlier, so that'll go in the front of the show. All right, my friend. Before we head on out, we need to be talking about the latest 10 in our top 200 video games of all time, as determined by our listeners and followers of the pop culture cosmos. So here we go. Numbers 31 to 40. We're almost there, my friend. We're almost there. Number 40 is the original Double Dragon. 39, Overwatch. 38, Mario Kart 64. 37, Final Fantasy X. 36, Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. 35, Fallout 3. 34, Super Mario Bros. 33, Grand Theft Auto 5. 32, Conker's Bad Fur Day. 31 is Super Smash Bros., the original on Nintendo 64. So I ask you, my friend, that's a heavy-duty list, some real heavyweights, including one of the biggest-selling video games of all time. In fact, there's one of the biggest arcade games of all time as well. So there's a big list for you, a lot of great memories for a lot of people. So I want to hear your thoughts on numbers 31 to 40 in our top 200 video games of all time.
Honest, man, as much crap as I give you about Double Dragon, I remember actually really enjoying that game. And I remember waking up on Saturday mornings and watching the cartoon. Like, I was unable to hold my excitement for how excited I was about watching that cartoon. So
I knew you were going to give me a shot when it comes to Double Dragon.
No, I mean it though. Like, I give you a lot of crap, so I'm sorry about that, but I really do.
Yeah,
Double Dragon, I do have some good memories with it. Okay, that being said,
right. Yeah, sure.
I had never played Overwatch. I don't like Blizzard, and it's not just because of their recent stuff. I've never been a fan of their games. Mario Kart 64 is a different story though. This is one of those games where, I told you I had never owned a Nintendo until I had the Wii, and then the Switch was my second Nintendo console. Mario Kart 64 is one of those games where I would make up excuses to go to friends' house who had Nintendo 64 to play this game. I remember I loved the competitive mode, but most of all, I loved playing the battle mode, right? So you do those maps. I remember there's one specifically that had the 4 towers in each corner of it, and you would run around or drive around. You can have your turtle shell spinning. There's the balloons, the rockets, stuff like that. And I remember just wanting to spend hours playing that game because you didn't have to buy a little L bracket for your four-player add-on. So you just sit there and play with friends. Like, I bought a couple controllers so I can go over to friends' house to play. Hours and hours of fun with this game, and I have it now on a Nintendo 64 I bought on eBay, and I still love it. Still love to play it. Final Fantasy X is an interesting one. I had this game. I bought this game the day it came out. I played 7, played 8, loved 9, and then I got into 10. 10 was I bought it, and then I remember getting the strategy guide for Christmas, and I spent hours playing this game, and it was frustrating because I always got so far in the game, and my brother would accidentally save over my game because we shared a memory card. And so I played this game hold on one second. Can you hear that? Hold on. hold on. It's like we live next to a Navy base, so it feels like every helicopter and airplane in the country is flying over our house all the time. All right, so back to Final Fantasy X. Like, I remember really loving this game because it was the first Final Fantasy that I had played on, the newer generation of consoles, and it had an amazing story. It wasn't, the storyline was not bogged down. It felt a little more real than the other games felt. Like, it was the first kind of futuristic setting, and it was the cinematics were amazing. The characters were intriguing. As whiny as Titus was at points, like, he's a good protagonist. You felt sorry for him. You wanted to see things work out between him and Yuna. And then this was like the first one that actually had like a legit sequel. It wasn't something that was an afterthought. Like, After Years came out, several years after Final Fantasy VI, I think, or 4 maybe. But yeah, no, it was definitely. It was good. I loved it a lot, and I still do. I bought it on Nintendo Switch, and I'm about halfway through it right now, and I really enjoy the game. It's something that I hope my kids will play one day. I'd love to play it with them, and it's a great game. So, will we ever see Final Fantasy X-3? Who knows? They've been talking about it for years. I would love to revisit the world of Spira. Going through here, Legend of Zelda 2, Adventures of Link. Never played the old ones. Do you have any experience with them?
Not a whole lot. But again, that's something that I know Nintendo is very fond of probably reintroducing to a new audience.
So it's something I've always wanted to go back to. Going down to Fallout 3, I remember this having Liam Neeson in it. The vocal, his voice was in there. Yeah, so that was fun. This was the first like actual Fallout game I played all the way through, so I really enjoyed that. I loved how challenging it was. It was nice to visit a world made by Bethesda that wasn't Elder Scrolls. So that was fun. I know it's won a bunch of Game of the Year awards, sold over 600,000 copies in the first month. So a lot of other people besides me really enjoyed it. Going on here, Super Mario Bros. Never played the original. I know that sounds bad. Grand Theft Auto 5, never played. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Love this game because it's a very unassuming game, right? You assume it's just a game about a squirrel going on an adventure, and he ends up being like the most vulgar protagonist in any game that I've ever seen. And I know it's one of the most sought after Nintendo 64 games these days. So I love it, and I would like to go back and play it eventually. Smash Bros. N64 I played like 3 times, so I don't really have much to say on that. What about you, though? Any of these games stick out above the others?
Well, GTA 5 sticks out just because it sold over 100 million copies. So I think that's probably, it's one of the biggest selling games of all time. One of the greatest success stories we will ever see when it comes to the video game platform. But Mario Kart 64, absolutely a blast. I got it Nintendo 64, and that was one of the first games I played on it. Just absolutely a tremendous blast to play. Double Dragon, yes, I did work on the movie way back when, which is, of course, part of the reason why you and Jamie both give me a lot of stuff for it. But the actual game that it was based on was a lot of fun to play. I loved going to the arcades and going from the beginning to the end and going all the way and beating the final boss on it was just a great challenge. This is just a great list as far as a lot of games with with some good history to it. Overwatch, I know you're not exactly the greatest fan of. It is one of Blizzard's very good success stories. In fact, obviously the fact that when you have a league that's dedicated just to it, obviously you're doing very well with it. Fallout 3, I still like New Vegas over Fallout 3, but it's still considered one of the best in the Fallout series, and another great game by Bethesda. But overall, Conker's Bad Fur Day. A lot of people have some fond memories of it, and of course, the original Super Smash Brothers. We couldn't have the iterations in the great series that it's become without the original. And Super Smash Brothers is a very solid game still, even to this day. So that's a great list. And I forgot to mention Super Mario Brothers, which I had so much fun of in the arcades and also at the local liquor store when I was going ahead after school. I would just stop by, I would play for an hour here and there. It was a great time playing Super Mario Brothers as well. So we have some great memories of these games because this list right here, this 10 is another great, another awesome list of 10 right there for you. If you want to check out the entire list of 200, it is available right now at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. I mean, there it's already up to number 1. You can see where your favorite games are at from number 1 to 200. Otherwise, just keep checking in on our shows. The PCC Multiverse and Pop Culture Cosmos will be breaking them down for you as well. If you have any questions on them or great memories you want us to share on the show of any of these games in the top 200, let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, it's been a great episode. Once again, I'd like to thank Mike Faber from the ESO Network, also as well Kevin Eldridge from the Flopcast, and of course Rob McCallum from Rob McCallum Films. Any last thoughts on the way out?
Martin Scorsese's thoughts on our next episode, so stay tuned for that.
Can you say that again because it got cut off?
Yeah, we are going to be revisiting Martin Scorsese's thoughts on cinema and the MCU in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be good.
Absolutely, my friend. Just a little, your trigger finger always it gets a little bit, it gets a little.
Same thing when I'm writing, like my finger or my brain gets ahead of my fingers and I end up skipping like whole sentences.
Yeah, you're missing, like right now you just missed like 3 words, so it's funny. It's like, and by the way, all right. But well, definitely we're going to be delving back into the comments that Martin Scorsese has made, as he has done a double down on his comments on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I still have some issue with it, and I'm going to go ahead and share my thoughts on it as well, plus everything that's going on in the world of pop culture. So stay tuned to us right here on the Monday show, the Pop Culture Cosmos. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great